Yo, it's your top G, boys. With my bro here, we are out on the streets. My boy Lord Farmer got me out. And don't ask too many questions as to how I hang out with people 1 degree away from the Rothschilds and King Charles. Let's just say I perform a lot of services. And do not listen to anything O'Connell says. Nobody can work with him. Now, it's time I went to my parole conditions job. Just like old times. Top G out. Oh, hello, sir. I have this place reserved for you, and if you need a massage, let me know. It's how I met my boyfriend, George.
Aha, I knew it, Tate.
O'Connell, I see you. You publish this, and the top G will come for you like I come for a 15-year-old teenage girl. No one can work with you.
Hola, Internet amigos. Well, don't listen to Andrew Tate. He actually got on my boat, and let's just say I had to deal with him.
Communication companies all around the world. Just one Israeli company could bring America to its knees. And not just America, the world. What the hell? I ordered a mature, conservatively dressed woman from the local nunnery to serve drinks on my yacht for the monastery fundraising event.
Candace and Lord Farmer got me out of solitary and said, April Fool to you.
Hey, was that gunfire?
Yeah, I have a small caliber handgun with rat shot. I won't allow flea-bitten rats on my boat.
Anyway, that's the video coming soon on the National Defense Authorization Act, Section 219, formerly Section 224. Let's talk about some very funny goings on. Let's talk about Tim Pool. Suddenly he loves Ukraine after receiving 100,000 an episode to bag Ukraine. Remember Chatham House rules, how Tim Pool went to that meeting and it was all Chatham House rules, meeting with Netanyahu. I love these people. They can just do whatever they like, say whatever they like. And then when it all goes pear-shaped, they just change their minds and go, oh, no, I love Ukraine. Please keep sending me money. It's a wonderful life when you're a cross-promoted, illuminized whore. And, of course, Laura Loomer, speaking of whores, the chief head job giver to all the Secret Service in the White House and most likely Donald Trump, is now in Ukraine singing the praises. And not only that, Laura Loomer is talking the multipolar world order. I first saw it with Dana Loesch. That's all the McCain crowd. And, of course, very trying to sell the Charlie Kirk horseshit to everyone, like everyone else. But then we've got the other horseshit from Candace Owens, who's one step away from Lord Jacob Rothschild herself. And no one wants to point out she's a Catholic Mason, which doesn't exist. But why do that? Why do that? You sent me some interesting stuff to do with the Bullington Private Club, which is like a Skull and Bones. That's all very interesting, don't get me wrong, but I still haven't found anyone saying, excuse me, she's one step away from King Charles and Lord Jacob Rothschild. Literally. Via her daddy-in-law, her gay boyfriend's father, Lord Farmer. Hello? Anyone? I'll take anyone? Anyone? Well, anyway. But anyway, a lot of good info out there, and we're in bubbles. So we say no one's talking about it. Well, they probably are. You just can't find them because that's the new world that Patrick Berge told us all about. Millie Weaver, Gavin Wentz in Shadowgate 1 and 2. They can just section you off and they don't have to kill you. You can just gas bag to your imaginary AI chatbot friends. And it's a beautiful system when you think about it. Very cunning. Well, okie dokie, let us begin. You just do the intro and then we'll see the turnaround.
Vladimir Putin knows that Donald Trump is the one who calls the shots. He is. He could have been way more aggressive towards Vladimir Putin if he wanted to. If I was president of the United States and Russia was supplying Iran with weapons to kill U.S. soldiers, I would kill Vladimir Putin.
She's nuttier than a box of frogs, that one. Absolute nutty. But gives a great blowjob, I hear, and I'm being serious. She's just notorious through the White House for Secret Service agents and most likely the president. Anyway, she goes right into detail and really says, I apologize, like the sudden turnaround by these big names, suddenly turning around is very profound. Now, it's nothing to do with anything anyone else has done. It's us. It's Mary Silva. It's Lee Levino. It's myself. It's 5, 10 people max. Those are the people that have completely changed this narrative. Completely. But anyway, let's go where she talks multipolar. So now we find the multipolar world order. We haven't got to Kissinger yet. There's a long way to go, but you can see how they've been dragged kicking and screaming into the correct narrative, and they hate it. But, and I own it, and they just hate it. They just absolutely hate it. So Laura Loomer mentions that multipolarity is only spreading at a more rapid pace every single day. And just remember, of course, Vladimir Putin with Heinz Kissinger, his mentor, Yevgeny Primakov, who was the head of the SVU, which is the Foreign Intelligence Service, the old KGB, who was also the head of the Communist Party. He couldn't run because he was so unpopular. So what did they do? They groomed Vladimir Putin. And there's Putin with Gerhard Schroeder and the board of Rothschild. And everyone says he's an anti-globalist. He's friends with Klaus Schwab for 32 years. Dear Klaus, we've been friends since I met you at Davos in 1992. Oh, yes, he's an anti-globalist fighting the evil, perfidious Hofjuden. Of course he is. Yeah, right. Let's hear Laura give us the good oil on multipolarity.
In the beginning of our interview, multipolarity is only spreading at a more rapid pace every single day. China, Russia, Iran. There was a report that
Israel, remember your boy, Bibi, the Eurasian Economic Union, he's joining with Vlad, and Iran was soon to join because they're all City of London. That's why.
Russia's now going to get 30,000 soldiers from North Korea. And there's a lot of politicians in the United States.
Ooh, it's so scary. World War III's coming. Buy my coffee mugs and T-shirts. No World War III. I do believe there might be a tactical nuke, or at least the appearance of a tactical nuke. They might stack 400 tons of high explosive and say a nuke's been set off. But I said from day one when this started, this can only end in a tactical nuke. And it's a beautiful ending for everyone. 2 French brothers will be present, just like they were at the World Trade Center on 9/11. They will film it with their high-quality cinema Inspire 3 drone. They just happen to be there, filming the life of a rare Ukrainian marsupial. And you'll see the mushroom cloud, and that will be the beautiful ending. Now, the wind will blow across Russia, but since when did Russia care if they do drop a tactical nuke? It just ends it nicely for everyone. The war is over. The news cycle is satisfied for months. Maybe they don't have to do the blockade of Taiwan to keep the news cycle busy and get all those Taiwanese engineers over to the United States. There's a whole host of things that need to be discussed, and we will, after we've done Section 219 and the National Defense Authorization Act, we will talk all of this. I've just finished completely moving. We're getting there slowly but surely. So here's where she also talks anti-isolationist, and I agree. Shame it's Laura Loomer.
Believe that when you push isolationist policies, you give rise to multipolarity. But these are the people like Tucker Carlson, for example, who, and he has close relationships with people in our government. He's very good friends with our vice president, right? Tucker's son worked for the vice president, and I get along with Vice President J.D. Vance.
No, he left, and then Tucker claimed that he bought everyone out of that 1776 or 1778 capital, but he's never confessed that he bought Rebecca Mercer from Cambridge Analytica out. That's GCHQ, baby. All right, that's Rothschild. That's who Tucker Carlson works for directly. But none of the other clown show disgusting Israeli first scumbags will dare mention it. Funny that, isn't it? Funny. What? Treason doth never prosper. Why? Because none dare call it treason. For it to prosper, none dare call it treason. It's treason.
But you cannot deny the fact that there are people who serve in the highest levels of the Trump administration who are isolationists, and that is only going to give rise to multipolarity. America doesn't need to be involved in every single war, but we do need to have our foot, or at least our pressure, applied to the entire world, because we create a sense of balance. Otherwise, you have this axis of evil running around the world.
Yeah, the axis of evil that seem to have a lot of U.S. technology and all their evil weapons seem to be funded and coddled by U.S. technology, because one thing we've got to get into is that the barbarians are inside the gates. It's not just outside, they're inside. And unfortunately, I agree with Laura Loomer. There needs to be McCarthy hearings urgently, and roundups, yes, because they've already admitted everything they've done, all of them. Okay, so that's that bit. Then we get into the MAGA grifters. Tim Pool's hilarious.
Just like in any other country of the post-Soviet world, and like any other Slavic country pretty much too. Does Laura Loomer even know anything about Ukraine? Let's talk about Crimea, okay?
Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine is our enemy, being funded by the Democrats. I will stress this again.
$100,000 US every time he did that little whore. See, it doesn't matter what happens. Their numbers keep rising, the money. I was told that Sean Ryan was on over $17 million a year, and someone said, no, it's way higher than that, double. Sean Ryan. How much do you think Tucker Carlson's on?
One of the greatest enemies of our nation right now is Ukraine.
Zelensky has morphed into more of a dictator than an elected leader at this point. He regularly likes to call Putin an authoritarian, when he himself is no better and is in fact in many ways even worse.
And I feel
Actually, not entirely untrue. Not entirely untrue, but it wouldn't kill him worse than Putin. He hasn't shot a bunch of journalists in the head outside the Kremlin and laughed about it.
really terrible for some of the things that I've said. So I would like to apologize on your show to the people of Ukraine for some of the things that I've said about your country.
Well guys, apparently it looks like the Russian money has finally dried up. Because a lot of American far-right podcasters and MAGA grifters right now are basically one by one flip-flopping on Russia, and they claim that they now support Ukraine, even though they spent the last few years spreading nothing but Russian propaganda. Laura Loomer, for example, who's an American podcaster and a big MAGA personality, a big supporter of Trump and Israel, and just like many other conservatives in America like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, she's pretty much spent the last few years spreading Russian talking points. But recently she's had a sudden change of heart where she basically claimed that she now stands with Ukraine and that she was blinded by Russian propaganda, and she even
Blinded by the light.
actually visited Ukraine and managed to get an interview with President Zelensky. Or for example, our favorite beanie-wearing man Tim Pool, who's been exposed by the American government not that long ago for basically receiving Russian money. He's also suddenly now apparently standing with Ukraine. Which is all a very strange coincidence, isn't it? So hey there people, it is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian, and in this video, we're gonna talk about why MAGA influencers are now suddenly changing their view on Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, it's more profound than you know, and it's not just about money. Anyway, I see they've reposted the Iran secret warning to JD Vance. Yes, there's a lot of hoo-ha going on. Yes, there's a lot. I told you, the barbarians are inside the gates, and WHITKOFF and KUSHNER should be executed immediately. And if it's too messy, just blow their brains out quietly and dispose of their bodies. And I'm being absolutely 100% deadly serious. If you don't start dealing with these scumbags, that's why Trump has to go. A lot of people want him gone on multiple sides. His links in with Epstein, is he an actual pedophile? 50-50. He did report Epstein in 2004. That is a fact, related to be by Robert Murrow, who wrote The Clintons' War on Women. He wrote that book with Roger Stone. Roger Stone told him in 2004. I was told this in 2016, midway through. I was trying to get Roger's book, publicity for Roger Reed's book. And lo and behold, who was the transporter for the Medellin cartel. I met him in jail. I got his book published, Smuggler.
The following is a conversation with Roger Reeves, one of the most prolific drug smugglers in history. He worked for Pablo Escobar and Jorge Ochoa, the leaders behind the Medellin cartel. You are one of the most prolific drug smugglers in history. What would you say motivated you? Money, power, the thrill, or was it something else?
Money.
But isn't there a point where you've had more money than you can possibly know what to do with? Or is it always more money?
You know, I had plenty of money several times. And
yet hardly anyone knows anything about you. It's a major story, and I'll thank you for this information. We hope the media picks it up. Final word?
I do too. I hope we can sell the book and get it out there, and then folks will know me.
He's been on Sean Ryan. He's been on all of them, except Joe Rogan. I told him he wouldn't get on. Long story. I'll do a video on it. And Roger Stone told Robert Murrow that Trump went in to see him one day and saw like 8-9-year-old girls in the pool and thought, oh, that's nice. Jeff has the children's next door neighbor in his pool. He went in, he burst out 5 minutes later, called Roger, and Roger and him went to the FBI. Roger didn't say exactly what was seen, but it involved 9-year-old girls. That's the story. See, Trump's got a cutoff point, I think it's 16 or 17. He's a deviant, and his sexual innuendo with his daughter is just disgusting. If that was a friend, you'd ban him from the house. It's just got to go, all right? He's a weapon. He's a tungsten carbide armor penetrator. Look, there's no doubt about it. He's 1 in a million. He's done his job. He's been a total disruptor. Maybe they need him for a couple more years as the madman, the crazy madman, to get things done, and then they can dispose of him as a he's not part of the circle. But America just depends on how far you want to keep this going. How far do you want to keep this going? Seriously. Regardless, Positive things continue to happen. You may not know it or think it or feel it, but you're going to be fine. This August, June, July, August, September, October, going to be hell of 3 months. It's going to be very interesting politically. You will survive. You will have a job. If you lose your job, you were probably going to lose it anyway. Don't go around blaming AI all the time. Lots of people lose jobs all the time. Lots of people find jobs all the time. The inflation is disgusting, and they're happy with the inflation because it keeps people stressed. The bottom line, you have to stress your population. This is science. It's science. They got 150 years of Edward Bernays, Tavistock, Sigmund Freud. They've mapped the mammalian brain. They've mapped, right? You're mapped. You're known. They've data analytic to everyone. 8 data points will give you a pretty good overview of a human being's life. 8. The average person online has 3,000, and heavy social media users have up to 30,000 data points. They know when you're going to burp, you're going to fart, you're going to go to the shop, you're going to pick up your milk. It's all being gathered in real time. That doesn't mean they're looking at you, and the actual fact isn't to lock you down or even to manipulate. That's the secondary. The main aim is to build the system for quantum and AI. Robotics, new material science for space exploration. And that's why you see those people with those cameras filming their hands as they do these jobs, and you think, oh, they're going to take away all the poor people's jobs. That may well be a very bad side effect, correct. However, that's not the primary reason. It's doing it for AI, for the robots when we go to Mars and the moon. I'm just telling you that is what it's for. 100%. The side effect could be, look, it's a choice. They're going to bring us to the brink. They're very happy with all the anti-AI. They're very happy with all the hatred for data centers and that incredible noise. My God, that noise is... Who even would have considered building those things? I didn't realize how bad that noise was. That would drive me insane. I'd be out there with my 50 cal. Literally, I would be out there with my 50 cal blowing their transformers up if I had to put up with that. So I agree, this is a very bad implementation, but they've stopped not because they're worried about it, they've stopped because they've got no energy. And that was the plan. China's just built an energy hand over fist, and America is so hamstrung. That was the plan. You're at war, America. And when I say you're at war, you're going to go, well, yeah, I kind of know. No, you don't understand. You are literally at war. You're this close. But the Chinese are shooting. Everyone's, there's Carney and the rest of them trying to push and shove and puff their chests. This is the showdown that's happening now. That's why the Gulf of Hormuz, it's not even closed. It's just all hoo-ha bullshit, right? We can think for ourselves. Think about the sea mines. Oh, we put sea mines through the Straits of Hormuz. Well, that would be a problem because they just float around. So you might just float into people that are using your channels. And you don't just take the boat out on a Sunday afternoon drive and drop a 1-ton sea mine over the side without being seen. That section of the Gulf of Hormuz is tiny. Nothing farts, nothing burps, nothing lies down, has a sleep without US knowledge. Nothing. There's no boats roaming around the Straits of Hormuz that are not allowed to be there by the US military. It's garbage. They don't have any fancy Chinese mines that are sitting on the seabed waiting to go. It's all stinking, pathetic garbage. All of it. US is just playing with their AI battle management systems with the UK and Israel. They are putting pressure on the Chinese because that's all, and India too. You don't trust India. The Indian elites have been in bed with the Soviet Union from day dot. Why? Because they're all City of London. The British never leave, my friend. Never. It's all City of London. And they're putting pressure on Europe, UK, and of course, China. That's the game that's being played right now. It's all about pressure because the US elites are so corrupt. That's the problem. I mean, I'm agreeing with Laura Loomer. In actual fact, Laura Loomer's agreeing with me, but you just can't, Steve Bannon's done such brilliant stuff himself, and yet he's just so freaking dirty himself. You're looking for, I'm not looking for a saint here. I'm just looking for just someone kind of normal. Maybe they had an affair once. Maybe they went to confession. Maybe they took drugs. Maybe they had a physical altercation with their wife and got the police called. Just something mildly normal. There's just this crazy freak show. And it's like you want to agree, and then Bannon's no greater Israel. It's all great stuff. Now they're going after him on Julia Sivola. Yeah, they all watch my stuff, I'm telling you right now. But you're trying to look for, that's why I look at Mary Silva and realize that really she's the future. People like her, a whole new generation. She's so boring. I actually believe there's going to be some very positive outcomes come out of all of this, but I'm not going to deny it. It's stressing me out as well. Don't worry about that, because I'm the kind of person I need to understand, and it's It's a bar fight. You're trying to give it's like Queensberry rules. You're trying to, even a UFC fight. There's rules. There's a ring. You can see what's going on. This is not that. This is a bar room brawl. And you see someone coming to an overhand right fist, boom, and you go, yeah, and then you look at that guy and that's one of your enemies. And I mean, it's like you're trying to pick a side because we're naturally tribal. We naturally want to move in a group. And you've got to stop that and just stand in the truth. You're in no man's land, no woman's land, and you're just going to have to take the pain of the polar opposites, stressing you out, those magnetic poles. And just wait, because I told you it would all fall apart. Remember, I told you years ago, it's all going to fall apart. All the Whitney Webbs, all of these people that have come out and lied and given gross limited hangouts or just lied through their teeth. Watch, the truth always wins every single time. The lie is a great sprinter, but it's a terrible long distance runner. You just got to be patient. There's a lot of people I could attack. I'm just waiting. Listen, my personal time, Brendan Lee O'Connell, my time is coming. The issue's time is coming. Why it's important is not just egocentrically spoken by me. I'd like a future. Is my life bad? No, I got a nice new little place. It's half the price of the other one. It's kind of pretty snazzy and cool. It's pretty loud here, but that's all right. Thank God for sound suppression. But life isn't bad. But I'm still stressed at 55. I don't see anyone. I'm taking my L-Reuteri yogurt, which I'm telling you is 100% working. I probably eat too much. I do get a bit, but if you just stick at it, it definitely changes your perception. There's no doubt. It's God's bacteria, baby. Make your gut healthy again. L-Reuteri, I'm the L-Reuteri fanatic now. I'm just still having problems and going to milk instead of milk and cream, just trying it. Didn't work out too well, but that's all right. But I'm just urging to understand that my struggle is your struggle. If people don't see successful whistleblowers, they're just not going to come out. They see the poor guy from Boeing shooting himself in the head in his car. They see James Trafficanti and they see Kay Griggs, or they see a Bill Cooper. All they get is death, misery, and destruction. People are just going to go, I'm not going to be a whistleblower. And they see these whores promoted. And you say, oh, well, it's enough. They're doing their best, Brendan. No. Call them out for what they are. It's 2026. We know who did 9/11, and if you won't even articulate, I don't expect General Mattis or Mike Pompeo or even Fox News to tell me who did 9/11. But if you push yourself as this radical, cutting edge, I'm taking all the risk, I'm the alternative media, you can trust me, I've learnt my lesson, I'm with you, and you can't even tell me who did 9/11? You want to play games with the truth? These bullshit artists? That's a liar. And we've shown them to be liars. And Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, two of the biggest liars on earth. The other clowns are, well, I don't blame them because they're moron clowns. They're not pretending to be anyone they're not. Trying to tell me, well, Charlie Kirk just got a little hole in his neck from that 30-06. Maybe the bullet fragmented. I've shot a fair few firearms, more than the average Australian, but not as much as the average American. And you don't, 223s, 308s. I didn't even realize a 30-06 was even bigger than a 308. It's like 20% bigger, more powerful, heavier, doing 2,700 feet per second. That's a big round. You just know you don't need to be a ballistic expert to know if that hits you there. It doesn't have to say take your head off, but the shockwave, when it hits that flash, it's going to be messy. And even with MLK, Martin Luther King, when they hit him with a similar round, went through his chin, went through his neck, it blew his neck out. Right, because there's a supersonic shockwave from that large diameter heavy bullet. You've got kinetic energy, you've got the weight of the round, you've got a huge shockwave, supersonic shockwave. These are just laughing at it, but these people, oh no, it's fine, it's fine. And then you've got Candace Owens, the clown, City of London clown, playing a hero who's making a complete fool of herself. She doesn't care because that's her job. She's meant to go there and make a fool of herself so that everyone can laugh at her rather than going, can we just get back to the 30-06? Can we, please? Let's just get back. I don't need another magic bullet theory. Do you? We've had one in 1963. I'd say one was enough, but we got another magic bullet theory. I'm not getting suckered down that side. I know it's bullshit. They seem to just do things just to traumatize us. I don't know. Maybe they're just very desperate. Point is, I'm not saying move along. I'm just saying stop fretting over things and focus on national security. Israel, National Defense Authorization Act. The Pax Silica. I'm nearly finished. It's taken me a long time. I meant to do 5 minutes intro. It's more like going to be like 25 minutes, but it's good. It's funny and it's good. And I'm learning the AI local video generation better and better. But I have a long conversation from my wild colonial boy Manosphere Lair on the cliffside with my super yacht, and I'm chatting with Hegseth in the bunker with the commander-in-chief and Marco. And it's quite humorous, but you'll get a lot of great information out of it. All right, ladies and gents, Fauci's never going to jail. I've never seen such a blatant horseshit perp walk in all my life. And there's Tucker Carlson covering for their boy. They're all City of London. These are all globalists. These are not Pan-American nationalists. And there's Tucker Carlson saying, oh, don't worry about it. He's not a mass murderer. He's just a silly old man with an ego the size of Detroit. Look at him. He's pathetic. He doesn't need to go to jail. Don't worry about it. That's Tucker Carlson paraphrasing. And then Glenn Beck, oh, no, give him a full pardon so then we can get the transcript. I don't need a fucking transcript. We know exactly what they did. And there's even Trump recorded by Seymour Hersh for his book saying, I am not releasing that vaccine when it could kill half the country. They were all deleted, and I deleted it off my computer because I had the audio book. Fauci, do you need Tucker or a Senate hearing committee to tell you how guilty that stinking mass murdering piece of shit and all his friends at the end at the National Institutes of Health? You need Tucker Carlson? You need a Senate hearing committee? Is that what you need? We know what he needs. He needs Luigi. That's why they're fighting so hard to keep Mary Silva out of the club. If you're in the club, you're in the club. And mate, Thomas Massey, that bullshit artist, 26 years late, after Cynthia McKinney, Congresswoman, after James. Do you even know who James Trafficanti is? You want to talk legend? You want to talk absolutely in the late 90s? Early 2000s, he went to jail for years, and then he got run over by a tractor at his property. You don't even know who that is, but you know who Thomas fucking Massey is, that bullshit artist. Oh, AIPAC bad. AIPAC bad. Israel bad. And you say, tell me who did 9/11. And these suckers, these children, oh, don't talk about Thomas like that. I said, dude, I've been around for 35 fucking years on this issue. Don't give me your bullshit. You know nothing. The subtleties of the art, it's like being a hunter. You know the taste, the smells. You know the season. You know bullshit. I know how it works. You don't. You're still a child. I've seen it up close and personal, the bullshit. They just recruit. Okay, Rand Paul, Ron Paul, your heroes. What, libertarian horseshit? Ayn Rand, the Russian Jewess, and her horseshit? Where she ends up on a pension? In her old age? Yeah, really live by her own motto. So you don't know anything. You don't. Go and ask a Gen Xer, the people who grew up on the Bill Coopers, the Ezra Pounds, the Eustace Mullins, the Reverend Ted Pike, the Kay Griggs. Go and ask them, the Viktor Ovstrosky. You don't even know who this is. The Professor Israel Shahak. You don't know who it is. Myran Fagin. You don't know who it is. Red Orchestra. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know the Project for the New American Century? Do you know the Ode to Genome Plan? Do you? Do you know Zbig Brzezinski, the Grand Chessboards, America's geostrategic primacy role? Do you know what I'm talking about? But you're going to sit there and say you're woke? You're a moron. Present company excluded. You know nothing, and that's okay. Stop repeating shit you've seen in your feed. The reason it's in your feed is because it's shit. That's why you've never heard of Lee Levina. He can't even get 250,000 views on his incredible work, and he's put all over the internet. Then boom, it was over. He gets interviewed by The Hollywood Reporter. He gets interviewed by Sergey Brin's second wife and friends with Ian Carroll. What's her face? The owner of the Atlantic the Atlantic magazine. The woman? That's Ian Carroll's bestie. That's Sergey Brin's second wife. Lee's interviewed by The Atlantic. Where's the article? Nah, gone. I told Lee, you're not going to be in that magazine. He said, yeah, you're all right. I got hopeful for a minute. All right, if you're not in, you're not in. Simple as that. Fauci's in, you're out, we ain't in the club. End of story. It's a perp walk, we all shake a fist and we forget about it. Where's James Comey? Remember the big indictment of the former head of the FBI? Remember? And James Comey was just sitting there laughing, bring it on. How? Donald Trump's a 40-year criminal informant rat for the freaking FBI with Roger Stone. What are you talking about? He's been laundering drug money and he was so incompetent. He ran his own drug money laundering casino in Atlantic City into the ground. He's been working on the Chabad and that whole network his whole damn life. You can think, look, you hate General Mattis. You hate Mike Pompeo. You can hate them for whatever you want, for multiple reasons, but don't hate them for getting Donald Trump in line and getting him away. And there was Mike Pompeo saying, no, baby, you're not working with China anymore. We love you. Praise the rapture. But you're not working with it anymore. That's the system that got him under control, that fat orange clown rat. Reward him. He can take $2 billion, then he can go. Sooner the better. Lots of people want him gone. The enemy wants him. Everybody wants him gone. That's the problem. But if you can, do you think it all hinges on Donald Trump, that he's magic, he's got a big schlong or something, and what, everyone just bows down to him besides Laura Loomer under the desk? Is that what you think? You think the Republic relies on Donald Trump? Hegseth's doing I hate to admit it, Hegseth's done a pretty damn good job, at least in the advertising and marketing world. Rubio surprised me. JD Vance, I don't care about his friendship with Peter Thiel. They're all in the same boat, all of them. So I just want people who are going to make the country strong, and we can just keep fighting them at each turn. Peter Thiel's run away. He's shit scared. He knows his days are numbered. They all know the jig is up. Trump administration has done some wonderful things. They are now handing out taxpayer funds to certain high technology, but then they've said, we get 10% of your company. And isn't it amazing when the capitalists all come running for a taxpayer handout. It's not a government handout. It's the taxpayer handout of ordinary people, mostly ordinary people. But they don't call that socialism or communism, a handout from the taxpayer, from the government. But when the government representing the taxpayer says, well, by the way, if you want taxpayer money, we're taking a chunk of your company. Oh my God, what are you, a communist? Says Fox News by the arch imperial friend of Rothschild, piece of garbage, Rupert Murdoch. Oh, this is communism. No, we take the money. That's not communism. All right, free markets for the poor. Socialist taxpayer handouts for the rich. I mean, I'll give the Trump administration that. And even Scott Bessent surprised me, the former George Soros fund manager. I'm kind of impressed. And, you got to understand, I'm impressed within the confines of what we have. Of course, we want saints. Maybe in 20 years, we'll get something better than a grey hat, a beige hat, maybe. Because no one's ever pure. Well, there's only one who is pure, and we await Messiah. But till then, we're going to fight like hell. We're going to argue with God. 5 righteous men, Lord, 10 righteous men, 15 righteous men. We're going to argue with God. And we're going to keep moving forward in friendship and love and happiness and el rutore and oxytocin, baby. And we're going to keep our chin up. If there's one thing I've really noticed is how the negativity is really affecting me personally. And as I've got on top of that, I urge you to stop doom and gluing, doom scrolling, and understand there needs to be ramifications for these people and their thumbnails and their ridiculous headlines and their garbage bullshit stories they pull. There has to at some stage be no, your intent. Remember, it's about intent. You're allowed to be wrong, but you're not allowed to lie and say, I know this is a extremely panicking and anxiety producing thumbnail, but that might get me more clicks. I want to see ramifications for that, just like Alex Jones. Remember, Alex Jones, right, was not charged because he was to stifle his free speech. He was charged because Paul Joseph Watson others had already said he knew what he was saying was bullshit. He knew kids were dead. He knew that expert in school shootings he had on was a complete fraud. He knew. And he said to Paul Joseph Watson, I don't care. We get good ratings. We get good money. And when he refused to hand over his financials as part of the process, they did a summary judgment on him. That's why he's where he is, going, oh, they're persecuting me. Oh, what he's on what? I heard it was 12 to 25 million in 2015. It's way more than that now. Way more than that. It's up around $60 million, right? And he stashed over $60 million in cash, according to the forensic auditor at his little trial. $60 million was transferred into his parents' LLC in Nevada in a trust. All right. And Alex Jones could easily come out and say, it's a lie. Well, prove it. Release your financials, Alex. You get that guy on fraud. I mean, what a wonderful thing. The forensic auditor committed perjury. But Alex Jones doesn't want you to know how much money he's making. Flying first class. Doesn't anyone notice? Dissidents don't fly first class, baby. Illuminized federal rats fly first class. That's who. I shouldn't have to say these things. It should be obvious. Fauci ain't ever going to jail, not because it's not impossible, it's because as long as you sit passively, Fauci's one of hundreds that need to be executed, not go to jail. They need to be executed. And it seems harsh. Well, 2 million Arabs are dead. Let's start there. 2 million. I don't see Paul Bremer in jail. Kissinger's passed on, allegedly, with Lord Jakob. He's in hell partying in the disco. So what, when you kill 2 million people in a fake war, kill 3,000 Americans on 9/11, 2001, what, you just what, get a fish shaken at you? Is that what you're saying? I don't know, America, but everyone's waiting on you. It's in your court. I'm not a US citizen. I can't vote. All I can do is cheerlead, right? All I can do is hope that there's enough intelligence community and policing and security services are good people. Remember, they have children too. They have kids too. They have to watch us. They have to ascertain us. They look at our links. They look at the documents we produce, and that we changed people's minds when they tried to crack down. See, they didn't have the AI. That's why they want to remove the human element. They're desperate. That's what is so frightening about the future. If they can automate systems, not just the killbots, but if they can automate systems so that they remove those intelligence personnel, they remove the policing, the analysts, when you can do that, then there's nothing between us and them because they love their children too. So we better move fast. Mary Silva's still doing well. Ari Hoffman's still trying to destroy her. They're destroying her work computers now. You know, it's all right. Life goes on. But if you don't start supporting real dissidents in more ways than just sending a link around, then what do you want? People are just going to go, I'm not doing. Look at O'Connell sitting over there eking out his pathetic existence in Mexico. Look at the guys shooting themselves in the head, the Boeing whistleblower. They're looking around for a successful whistleblower. They don't exist. But the IRA know how to worship and idolize their martyrs, as do Hamas and Hezbollah. That's what you do. And to sit and watch as someone who's had his arms broken and been jailed and beaten and bashed and lived in freaking anxiety and fear, been shut off and deleted too many times, arrested too many times to mention, and you're just eking out your little existence? I'm sorry, my Scorpio Pluto personality, my Lucifer's pride will not stand for it for one fucking, this is just not happening. That's where I'm at. And until we start getting people like that who are willing to die for what they believe in, but also smart enough to know that it's not about whether violence is allowed. Of course it is. You're allowed violent self-defense, and it's right there in the American tradition. It's demanded of the American tradition to find new guardians of liberty, to water the tree of liberty with blood and violence. You are absolutely commanded by your own traditions to defend yourself, to take up the sword. The real question is not whether violence is allowed. Of course it is. I'm allowed to violently defend myself, whether it's against the state, corrupt police, institutions, a burglar. Of course I'm allowed violent self-defense. The question is when, where, how. And right now, America, there is no freaking excuse for violence out of you when you're not even engaging in the most basic of politics. You're just sitting online, bitching and selling coffee mugs. Which reminds me, works well with others, but only after coffee. Very true. I'm even drinking less coffee. Thank you, El Rudery. Now, I'm not joking, people. El Rudery, yeah, it's real. I just thought bacteria make you happy. Yeah, gut health is important. It's true. It's been 2 weeks. I'm starting to more tolerant of other people, of noise. Yeah, it's true. So there's positive things out there, people. There's positive things. The Trump administration has done some very good things. It's made up of a lot of different people. And it will not matter one whit if that orange clan is there. But at the same time, I thank him. I don't know how guilty he is on actual sexual molestation, but I strongly suspect on older teenage girls, he absolutely has. He repulses me before we even get to a serious pedophilia claim, a serious one. I'm already repulsed. You know, it's just not one thing. It's 100 things. And just the cult of personality makes me sick. His relationship with Ari and Rahm Emanuel, the Kushners, Chabad Lubavitch, Howard Lutnick. I mean, I'll take Steve Miller. Please, I'll take Steve Miller. This is what I mean. I'm starting to like people that I shouldn't like because the others are so freaking disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. This cult, I can't bear it. The guy's a moron, all right? He is an actor and a failed businessman. End of story. He's been groomed for a long time, that guy. A long time. He's an abject failure in business his whole life. But what he was good at was acting, delivering lines and pretending to be powerful, pretending to be a billionaire. I mean, do you seriously think billionaire property developers are what, side hustling on reality TV shows and the World Wrestling Federation? I mean, how the hell? It's like they want to humiliate us. I'm sure they can find someone who's at least mildly normal, mildly. We're not expecting miracles now, just mildly. Let's take it one step at a time. I am wildly optimistic for the future, wildly, but I won't deny it. When I wake up first thing in the morning, seriously. But I'm optimistic. But there's gonna be some ups and downs. The next 3 months, interesting time. But don't let them bullshit you that it's all gonna fall apart. It's bullshit. All right? Bullshit. And if I was you, I'd be selling your gold, selling your silver, selling your Bitcoin. I'd be selling it all. Just go and invest in the freaking stock market somewhere. Don't laugh. The US, there's nowhere to go. For all the investment, they can't take their money anywhere. There's nowhere to go. Do you understand? Europe does not have aircraft carrier battle fleets. China does not have aircraft carrier battle fleets. They got 2 poxy aircraft carriers that don't even work. America controls all the choke points of the world. It controls the cyber with their new best buddy, the Whore of Babylon, BB and co, under Section 219, formerly Section 244. We'll talk about it. But look on the bright side. This is the most tumultuous time in history. You're living it. Look outside, the sun's shining and the birds are tweeting and it's just another day. No, it's not another day. You are living history right now. Never forget it. Never, 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 never forget it. This is history. You are in it right now. And what you do matters, what you think matters, and what you pray matters, and what you put out there matters. Stop putting the US down. You're not going to destroy it. You want to reform it. I mean, sometimes we want to blow it up, but you need to reform because the option is the World Economic Forum and the EU. That's your option. That's where you're headed, the worldwide kibbutz. At least there's hope and a foundation to build on in the United States. The prepping community, the traditions, anti-government, and should be anti-corporate more than anti-government, anti-corporate, anti-private business, these huge cartels, Rothschild, City of London, those old families of Europe. That's where we have to go to build on that foundation of liberty, that new house, strong foundation, strong walls, beautiful architecture, nicely built, classy, but thick and strong and reinforced. That's what you're building. And from there, the pilot light, the lighthouse on the hill, nothing can stop us. Messiah comes, Messiah comes. You know what I believe, in all honesty? How you see Armageddon and the second coming, I don't see it like that. I don't think it's going to happen. I believe God can change his mind. You argue with God. It's right there in the Old Testament, Tanakh. 15 righteous men, Lord. 10, 5, and God spares. So spares them because there were 5 righteous men. Argue. Fight. God loves it. Don't be a rigid determinist. God is not a rigid determinist. These things must come to pass. Okay. Allegedly. You're saying God can't just go, I've seen enough righteous people now. The suffering's been enough. We've raised an army. The Holy Spirit and my spirit is moving across the lands of the world and people are starting to get together. You don't think God can stop things and just wait? Of course he can. It's right there in the damn Bible. Don't become a rigid determinist because there's comfort in that. You grow up and become an adult and you fight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll get back to editing. I'll leave you now with Andrew Tate. Yes, Lee made an Andrew Tate model. It's awesome. We'll talk very, very soon.
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and it's the only thing that it's all about. Nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom. Complete freedom.